Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be covering ratios, so let's just get straight into it. So ratios are a pretty simple concept. They essentially show how much of one thing there is in comparison to another thing. So if you have the ratio 5 to 2, and we've got 5 red boxes and 2 blue boxes, we know for every 5 red boxes there must be 2 blue boxes. And this is something we can actually scale up. And in this example, we've just scaled it up by 2, but do keep in mind the ratio is always the same, because as you can see, per 5 boxes, there are at least 2 blue boxes, if that makes sense. We're going to scale this up one more time by a 3, and as you can see, we have 15 to 6, 15 red boxes to 6 blue boxes, but the ratio is still the same because it's all about proportion and in comparison. So, if we're given a question like this, where we know that these ratios are equal, but we are missing a value, x, all we have to do is we have to look at how much it's multiplied by. So for example, this ratio, it goes from 3 to 9. And the way we just find how much is multiplied, we just do 9 divided by 3, and 9 divided by 3 is obviously 3. So we know that it was scaled up by 3. It's times 3. And whatever you do to one side of ratio, you always have to do to another part. So if we do there, times that by 3, we find that x is equal to 21, because 7 times 3 is 21. X is equal to 21. And that's just the basic idea of how ratios work. So now we're going to tackle our first question. Now this question is known as a sharing question, because what we're going to do is we're going to share a value between a ratio. So our first step, we're going to analyze the question. So a piece of wood is 45 meters in length. The length is then divided by the ratio 7 to 2 in 2 different parts, 7 being obviously one part, 2 being the other part. Work out the length of each part. Now our first step is we want to obviously, well, our end goal is to find the total length of each part, right? So we've got 7 to 2. So our first initial, if we use our brain, we kind of need to figure out that we need to find 1 unit, how much 1 unit of length is. The way we're going to do this is we're going to add the ratio so we can find the total length of both parts in their ratio. So 7 plus 2 is equal to 9. So we know that we have a total, our ratios add up to 9. And then what we'll do is we have 45 meters. Obviously, because we're 45 meters in total ratio of 9. So over that entire ratio of 9, 45 meters of wood is used. So to find 1 unit of one unit ratio of wood, what we're going to do is we're going to divide 45 by 9, and it should get us how much length of wood is in 1 unit, if that makes sense. I did a lot of yap there, but I'll explain. So 45 meters divided by 9 units. Don't actually write these in the exam. I'm just doing that for explanation's sake. So per 1 unit, we have 5 meters of wood. So now we look back at our original ratio. So we know that for 1 unit, there's 5 meters of wood. So for 7 units, we're going to do 5 multiplied by 7, because there's 7 units, and 1 unit is 5 meters. So we do 7 times by 5, which equals 35. I'm just going to run on the bottom part here. And then we do the same with 2. So we get 2 times 5 is equal to 10 meters of wood. And as you can notice, 10 plus 35 is equal to 45, so it adds up correctly. So we have officially shared 45 meters in the ratio 7 to 2. So now we're going to move on to something a little bit more complicated and more of a problem-solving question. So obviously, first step, we're going to break down the question. Melissa is 13 years old. Becky is 12 years old. Daniel is 10 years old. Crazy. They share £28 in the ratio of their ages, right? Becky gives 1/3 of her money to her mother. How much does Becky have by the end? So our first step is we're going to actually create the ratio. Now, we were previously working with a ratio with 2 numbers, 2 parts. Now we're going to be working with a ratio of 3 parts. It's exactly the same, it's not any more complicated. So ratio 13 to 12 to 10. And this cannot be simplified because 13 doesn't have any divisors except itself. So now we have the ratio of their ages. Our next step is to share the money out to each person. So we'll add their ages together. 13 plus 12 is equal to 25. Add 10 is equal to 35. So we have a total of 35 in their ages. We're going to do the total amount of money. Remember, like the length of wood, we have to find 1 unit per each year of their age. So we do 28 divided by 35. 28 divided by 35. Can the camera see that? No, it cannot. So 28 divided by 35 is equal to 0.8 pounds per unit. So we know that per unit of their age, they each have 0.8 pounds. We could find each age and give out the money and all that, but it'll be easier. And the question's only asking for Becky, so all we have to do is find Becky's amount of money, right? We don't have to find anyone else. So Becky is 12 years old. Times that by 0.8. 12 times 0.8. 12 times 0.8. What is that, Ezra?
9.6.
It's 9.6. 12 times 8 is 9.6 pounds. So we know that Becky has 9.8 pounds in total. But now we need to move on to our final step, is sharing out the 1/3. So you could do this in two ways. You could either multiply by 2/3, or you could find a third and then take it away. I'll do both methods. So I'm going to do the initial third and then take the away from the beginning. So, okay. So 9.8 times 1/3 is equal to 3.2. So we know that 1/3 of our money is 3.2 pounds. Then we're going to minus this from the original. So 9.6 minus 3.2 is equal to 6.4 pounds. And then, well, that's the answer actually, yeah. So 6.4 pounds because we're minusing 1/3 away from our money that she gave away to her mother. Next, we can do our next method, which is by just timesing it by 2/3. So if I just rub this out, 2/3 times 9.6 is equal to, right, so the first step, we need to multiply it by 2 and then divide it by 3. So 9.6 times 2 is 19.2. So 19.2 divided by 3, is that right? 19.2?
4.
Which is equal to 6.4 pounds. So pretty much the exact same, different method gives you the exact same answer. So now we're going to move to our third and final question of the day. This does look complicated, but trust me, this I think is actually simpler than the last two questions we covered. So let's break down the question again. Jim has 5p and 10p coins. The ratio to the number of 5p to 10p coins is 2:3. Right? So the amount of 5 to 10p coins is 2:3. Find the ratio of the value of 5 to 10p coins. This might seem a bit complicated because now we're finding amounts and values and all that. But trust me, it's very simple once I break it down. So we know that we have 5p coins. Oh God, pen's dying. 5 and 10p coins. We know that the amount of them is in the ratio 2:3. So we know that we have 2:3 5 to 10p coins. Now this might seem a bit complicated, but now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to visually represent it using the coins. So we got, what is it? So we got 2:3, so we got 1 5p, 1 5p, and then we got 3 10p's. So 10p, 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 5p, 5p. Now, I think it's a bit easier to understand, because now we've got 2 5p's, which equals a total of 10p, and then we've got 3 10p's, which equals a total of 30p. 30p. Now we put this in a ratio. So put 10 to 30p. You might think this is it, but this is not. We're able to simplify ratios. Ratios are just like fractions, you can simplify them. So 10 to 3, our highest common factor there would be 10, so divide by 10, divide that by 10, and then we get 1 to 3 as our final answer. Thank you guys for watching this video on ratios. I hope you've learned something. These are just the basics of ratios. The questions are not very complicated. These are general things that will be quite low on marks. So I'm sorry it's not even complicated. I'll make a new video about ratios, which cover, I know, crazy questions that I don't even know the answer to right now. But thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. And for that one subscriber that unsubscribed that I told you to resubscribe, I'm out there. I know you live.